Hello, Professor McCulloch. This is my movie review. I'm doing it from my house. All right, so my movie review for Enron. An overview of the film. I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was really interesting. I actually watched it the day that I was gone for pink eye, and I emailed you. I watched the whole thing, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was good for us to watch to get an understanding of fraud and how easily it can occur, and just kind of like the different types of fraud that can happen and how it can happen anywhere. Like the big companies now, one of them could be doing fraud right now and we wouldn't even know it. So I really enjoyed the film. I thought the film itself was good. I thought it was put together pretty well. The way that they kind of separated each part of the rise and then the plane and then the fall at the end. I thought that they did that pretty well, so I enjoyed the movie. Um, during the movie, we learned about a couple of different types of fraud that were going on at Enron. One type of fraud was insider trading, and that's what a lot of the executives and people at Enron got in trouble for was insider trading. They were pushing stock that they knew was bad and buying it and selling it for themselves, and so they would make money while the company was at a loss and they were hiding the losses. Um, maybe not maybe not a fraud, but the different type of accounting that they were doing. They were making assumptions on money that they were going to make before they made it to make their accounts look good, and when they really weren't, or they want to go back and change them after they had done it. Lessons I learned from the movie about fraud. Um, One thing that I kind of taken away from it is that no matter how big or small the fraud is, I think that the company will always get caught. I think that it can happen at any level, and that people will always get caught because there will always be somebody who wants to do the right thing, or once they recognize what's going on, they want to change it and whatnot. Another thing I learned was even good people can get caught up in fraud. I don't assume that all the people that were involved in the Enron scandal were bad people, but I do. I'm sure there are people who were good, and there were bad people. The bad people were the ones directing it, but I think the people who got caught up in it were the people who saw the amount of money that they could be making and changed the way that they would act on their morals and ethics. Which kind of leads me into the next topic that I'm talking about, which is ethical components of the movie. There are a bunch of messed up ethics in the movie. Ken Lay, Jeffrey Skilling, to name it, the two main guys. They're aware of what's going on. The big thing for me was the energy crisis in California. They didn't care about what the people. All they did is they saw that they could make money or hide their losses, and just went for it. On the plus side, the ethical components of the movie, um, somebody ultimately decided to take a stand in that they didn't agree with what was happening at Enron, and finally made a change. And so on the good side of ethics, I thought that was a good thing to incorporate in the movie and kind of show that you might be called a tattletale or a whistleblower, but in the end, it's worth it because there are people who are being affected by the fraud. One other ethical component of the movie was denial. They continued to deny even though the facts showed that they were like guilty. They denied the entire time, and they were in denial even when they were committing the fraud, which kind of what it boiled down to. They were in denial that they could be operating at a loss, or not too far in debt, and their assets, liability, stockholders' equity weren't equal. So yeah, there's another thing. All right, and then so a summary of where the main people are at now. Ken Lay, who was the founder and chairman of Enron, actually died on July 5th, 2006, a little more than 2 months after his criminal trial. There's a conspiracy theory that says that he's not actually dead, he's just hiding, but people close to him insist that he actually is dead. Um, because he died before he could appeal, his convictions on 10 criminal counts were wiped out. Jeffrey Skilling, who resigned as CEO right before Enron took a fall, He was the architect of Enron's business model. He is in prison in Inglewood, Colorado, serving 5 years into a 24-year sentence for conspiracy, fraud, and insider trading. He continues to maintain his innocence and in November 2011 filed a second petition with the U.S. Supreme Court for new trial. That kind of boils down to my thing on denial. Like, he's in jail for what he did and he's still denying it and saying that he got set up or something like that, which is complete and just complete and utter, like, just not fair. It's idiotic. I don't understand it. Andy Fastow, he was the former CFO and supposed to be like the second man to Jeffrey Skilling. He pleaded guilty to 2 conspiracy counts and agreed to a 10-year sentence in exchange for his testimony. He only served 5 years of that sentence because of good behavior and whatnot. And he worked at a clerk. He works as a clerk at a Houston law firm now. Sharon Watkins, the she was the former chief financial officer, so I think she was that after Andy Fastow, and she was ultimately the one who told on Enron and whistle blew about the fraud and brought it to the federal government and government's attention so that they could be charged and gone through the court process. Um, she says the label of whistleblower made her radioactive in the business world. So she now does lectures, public speaking about fraud and how it can affect people and stuff like that. Um, and then another person who I don't think is as mentioned in the movie, or I can't remember he was mentioned at all, is Michael Copper, and he was the first Enron executive to strike a plea bargain with the feds. Served 2 years in prison for conspiring with Fastow, and he reportedly works at a Houston health center that specializes in HIV/AIDS testing now. So that's the 5 main people from the Enron scandal and kind of where they're at now. There were executives at Arthur Andersen and Merrill Lynch who served time for their conspiracy with Enron and the trading of stocks and whatnot. Two high up, I don't think they were CEOs, but people high up in the chain of command also served time. So that's my movie.